This is Heather Brown Dance. I'm gonna do things a little bit differently today because there was a snowstorm yesterday and we don't have any power. So I thought it might be interesting to show you guys how I do my medication when we don't have power, because I have a nebulizer, I have the vest, I have all those kinds of things that I still need to do, and now there's no way for us to plug anything in. So my husband has rigged up, well, we have a VW van that we go on trips in during the summer, and he has it all set up so that there is power for when we go on trips, and there's a solar panel on the top and batteries, and everything runs off the battery, and it's able to be replenished by running the engine. So what we've kind of done is moved all of my medications out to the van, and there's also a little fridge out there, but we haven't needed to use that yet, so that in the morning and in the evening I can just go out there and do everything and not have to worry about it. It just sucks having to actually go out there through the snow in order to go do my medication. But it's been working so far, and I thought I would show you what the setup's like.
How's it going? I'm Steve. Here's our 1990 Volkswagen Vanagon Westfalia. We bought this in, I think, 2012, and one of the ideas is I wanted to make sure that we could travel anywhere we wanted to, and Heather would be able to do all of her stuff with no complications whatsoever. So it was an interesting engineering challenge. Because one thing I wanted to do was really base it on solar the best that I could, but at the same time we're not generating energy at night, so we had to figure out a way to overcome that. So what we did was we installed a 129 hour amp hour deep cycle battery, and that's hooked up to a solar panel, and it's also hooked up to the alternator of the van. And then we have a variety of different stuff in here so that we can actually use that power. So if you look at the bench here, underneath the bench I have three switches, and the one in the center here operates our main fuse panel for the whole van. So the battery goes to this switch, and if I turn this on or off, it gives house power to the rest of the van. Then over here, this one turns on the power inverter, which we have on right now because there's no power in the house. So we're actually charging stuff in here right now. And then the last one over here, if I turn this one on or off, it actually connects the house battery to the alternator. So right now it's connected, and right now it's not. So if we ran the engine, it would be isolated from the engine, and now it would be combined with the engine, which is pretty cool. So inverter on, and then if we come over here, you can see Heather's vest compressor, and here's the 1100 watt power inverter. So we have to switch from DC to AC power in order to run regular devices. So you can see Heather's iPad is connected into that right now, and this, we did the 1100 watt because these devices pull a lot of juice. And then you can see we have these kind of cigarette lighter ports that we put all over the van so that we can charge off the house power with that too. If we head over this way, up in the corner here, these are our meters. So you can see that our battery's at 100% right now. And this one might be hard to see with the light. I'll see if I can get it to work. This tells us how much power we have. So you can see the battery's at 13.4 volts right now, which is what a deep cycle battery should be at. The temperature of the battery is 66 degrees, and we're currently pulling in 19.3 volts off the sun. So we have a solar panel on the roof, and that power all comes down into under the bench here. So we come in the solar panel into these wires, which go into a charge controller. Charge controllers keep your battery topped off, but don't overcharge it. And then we go into the deep cycle battery. This is what runs all the equipment. And then into the fuse panel, which then runs out to the rest of the van. You can see the really big power lines. Those are for the inverter because you are pulling so much power, and this is DC. So DC, you have to think a lot more about your lines and how that all works. So we have all this stuff, and that helps keep us going. Also have a nice refrigerator with a freezer that we can keep all the medications at the right temperature. We got a stove in here, so tonight when we don't have power inside, we can come out to the van and make dinner. I made my coffee out here this morning and my breakfast. It's pretty good, so it works well. Next thing is to set it up so we can also hook up to shore power and charge everything. So that's our van. So outside of the van, up top, you can see our solar panel up here. That's a 160 watt Carmana panel. And this does more than enough to keep the whole system topped off. Like I said, one thing that's really cool about this whole setup is that we can go anywhere now. And we actually have this map on the back of the van, and you can see this is every state or province that is colored in, we've actually driven through in this van. And just for fun, if there's any other Volkswagen van people out there, we picked this up about a year ago. It's a 1990 Volkswagen Transporter Synchro Doppelkabine. It is awesome.
So that is how we have been able to keep up doing my medication even though we have no power. And like my husband said, we've also been able to go on several really long road trips and be in the camper, and I can still do all of my medications, which is really awesome and a lot of fun. For the dancing side of things, this week we were doing a lot of learning from video. We set one of the solo pieces on a new dancer. One of the interesting things about having a small company is that a lot of times when you're putting together material, there'll be at least one dancer who ends up being in every single piece. So I'm trying to have something like a solo, have multiple dancers, multiple options for who's going to be performing them for whatever little shows we do, just so that maybe somebody who's in every other piece can get a little bit of a rest for that particular solo. Learning dance from video, I think, is a very specific technique for each person, and it's a lot easier now that we have portable videos, so you can really be holding the video in your hand as you're trying to recreate the movement. Back in the day, we used to have to be running back and forth to, a portable VCR TV hookup unit to look at the video and then run back and recreate it. But now it's much easier. You can hold it in your hand. You can rewind as quickly as you want. You don't have to watch the whole thing and then rewind it again. So it's made it a lot more simple, but it really is a tedious process. It really is all about figuring out how you and your body and your mind work to take material that you can see on the screen and translate it into movement. So we spent a lot of our time today doing just that. also still generating material for a new solo piece that we're starting to put together. So we did work a little bit on that, and I was able to participate. So there's some of my movement in there as well, which is always fun. Thank you very much for tuning into this video. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button to make sure that you can see our new videos every Saturday.